Righty. Say hey, everyone. Welcome into another edition of Say Hey Plays. My name is Jose Bouquett. We will have Big Ragu joining us in here in just a moment, but due to popular demand, we will talk about the soccer action here as well, popping off very shortly, about an hour for some games, later for some others. But we'll talk about each of them briefly here. We've been doing pretty well on them. We are up 4 units now. We lost yesterday's both teams to score, which did not feel good about, and I shouldn't have made that bet. We should have just made the draw, but we will keep on pushing on. 4.10 units of profit, and we'll talk about these games quickly, and we'll get into the baseball here. Let's talk about first England, Slovakia. England should roll here. They are a little bit of a worrisome squad because it is very like how I guess the U.S. teams in the Olympics come in and they expect to dominate everyone with all their talent, and then they have a coach that is trying to put them together, and then sometimes it doesn't all mesh. So that's basically what the English team is right now. Again, they should roll. I didn't have any action on this game in particular. It's tough to bet, Slovakia plus like 400 to qualify. I was semi-interested in both teams to score in this game as well. You can get a Slovakia over a half goal at plus 110, but I stayed off this game in particular, so no action here. Well, and of course, if you guys have action on any of these games, drop it in the chat. All right, so number 2, Spain, Georgia in this one. Admittedly, yes, I was interested in Georgia here. Very small country. They've got really one phenomenal player in Kavichka Skyla or whatever his name is. I can't really say his name, from Napoli. He's great, and I like him a lot, but he's unfortunately not going to be able to take on the full Spanish team by himself. This was another, both teams to score. Was semi-interested as well because we have a 3 total, and Spain should roll here, but I like Georgia. I like they can have a good free-flowing attack. I like how they play, and they won't put everyone behind the ball. So both teams to score, yes, plus 145 did appeal to me here, and I will have that written down. I don't think that'll be official, but I was interested in it nonetheless. And it was plus. Sorry, I need to get these accurate here. Both teams score plus 145. All right, beautiful. All right, let's keep it rolling into my game of the night. I will be in attendance. I'm leaving after this. Jamaica versus Venezuela. I've already cried twice this morning thinking about this game. It's going to be a very fun one, obviously, for me. Venezuela just has to not lose, and they win the group. As you guys know, I've bet Venezuela to win the group twice at plus 500 and plus 550. So I will definitely be rooting for a draw no bet kind of situation here for Venezuela. They're actually minus 110, minus 115 to win the game now in 90 minutes, which is it feels weird to me seeing that, honestly, to see Venezuela being a favorite here. I think this is a draw written all over it. I think that Venezuela will probably just play tight, not want to lose this game. I definitely think there's going to be a shitload of Venezuelan fans there to support Venezuela, and I think it'll be very much a home atmosphere. So, again, I was looking to see, like, maybe I can be safe and do like Venezuela draw no bet here. So I thought about it, and it's minus 300, minus 285 at places. So my official bet for the Venezuela game, draw, and that will be the first and it may be only game only bet that I'll have on this card. Venezuela, Jamaica draw. Like I said, only has to not lose old Venezuela. So I don't think they'll be too concerned about the attack. I think we'll play some solid defense. So plus 242 official on the card here. So that's nice. And lastly, Mexico, Ecuador here. A huge game for all Mexicans involved. Must win game for them to advance. Ecuador just can't lose again. They've been solid this tournament, and they were the ones allegedly going to win this game. As you guys know, I don't think Mexico is very good this year. They've been kind of a mess all year, and I've shouted that out many a times here. But I do think this is a prime both teams to score kind of game, because I think we'll be, trying to win. Mexico is going to be pressing, going all out. I'm surprised that the total is 2. That is a little worrisome for me here, but I will be moving on both teams to score in this game at plus 105 as well. So 2 official plays. One I'm a little bit more on the fence about. And let me write this down. Sorry, Ecuador, Mexico, both teams to score. Plus 105. All right. Beautiful. There we go. We knock out the soccer in less than 10 minutes. They give you guys my action, and we move on to the baseball, where I've had a good last few days, and we need to keep it up. We're still climbing towards the black, but it's nice to have some winning days back to back. And let's bring on our special guest, a man that has not joined us in quite a while. We miss his face very much. Is the one, the only, the big Ragu. Ragu, nice to see you. How are you doing?
Top of the morning, my guy. Top of the morning, family. Good to be here. I'm glad I got the invite, which, had a lot of stuff going on over the last 4 or 5 months. But anyway, hold on a sec. Okay, Now we're ready. Let's go.
Get ready. Blow off the dust. We're ready to cap. It's nice to see you, Ragu. Diaper Constantino. It's not as nice to see you in the chat, but I appreciate you watching. Ragu, let's get after it. Joey Harb, DC Capper, Kush God, Kelly, Jay Peasy, Andrew G, Justin McKelvey, all ready to attack this card. Thank you guys all for being in here early. And yes, Fletcher, I appreciate you taking notice of my obviously real new apartment. Obviously,
you moved in with Steve Profit, it looks like.
yeah. They're model homes, Ragu. So they just make them everywhere. Yeah, they just make them everywhere, thankfully. Yeah. So it's nice. But let's get after it here. Shout out to Justin McKelvey, Stacks Play of the Day. Apparently, another steak. Justin, what was our steak bet? Other steak bet here. I already forgot which one it was. But I do trust you, obviously. I owe you a steak. So shout out to you there. But let's get after it here, Ragu. Let's start off our baseball coverage with Pittsburgh, Atlanta. Game starting off here in about 30-ish minutes. Bailey Falter, Atlanta Braves here. It's obviously a little difficult to back the the Pittsburgh Pirates here. Bailey Falter and their record after Paul Skeens starts is horrific. But I just can't get there with the Atlanta Braves trying to lay minus 185 here with Schwellenbach, who I've said many a times this year that I don't trust the young Braves pitchers. But shout out to Troy Torrance. Troy Torrance loves him, the Braves today. A little cash cow play of the day on the Braves. And let's see where the market is and see where these lines have moved, because I guarantee you this has moved towards the Braves and there's a shitload of money on them. So let's talk about it. 91% of the bets and 73% of the money on the Braves is opened up at minus 170 and it is now minus 195 at our friends at Bet Online. So this line has moved a ton. I understand exactly why Troy Torrance is on it, and I am not on it. Maybe I'll devise another Cowcat parlay of the day, which cashed yesterday. Shout out to you, Troy, and the cash cow. Market in this game for the total. Let's talk about that. 55% of the bets and 61% of the money on the over. Some rare under love here, which is kind of funny. Was it juiced 9 minus 125? Now it is minus 115 to the over. Big Ragu, first game on our card. What do you think?
I'm gonna bounce some stuff. I'm gonna use a lot of my capping off of the info you gave me. A lot of these games I looked at briefly, like I say, dusting off. But I in the short dive that I put into this one here, I mean Schwellenbach and Falters, he has yet to beat the Braves, I believe, right? I mean he's 0-4 with a
Yeah.
6.63 ERA. This is going to be a tough spot. Although, if you go back and look to last year, I don't think they've been swept yet by the Braves, the Pirates, that is. And, when I'm looking at the Braves bats are a little bit cooler than they've been over time, and Pittsburgh's one of them teams that can jump up and bite you at a time or two. But, to me, this is like you look at a 9. If you look at any game, I think there's a bunch of. If you look at the series since last year, this particular series, anytime the game has been over 8.5, the total, I think it's gone over probably like 7 out of 10 times. So I would, even though, like you said, the maybe there's some sharp money coming on under, but I would have to lean over here. Even though it's a stronger number, and maybe look to a team total of Braves bats. In all those games where the total's been like 8.5 or better. I think the Braves have scored north of 6 runs in probably like 90% of those games too. So I would lean the Braves team total over here and full game over.
All right. Team totals overs for Ragu, a little over as well.
I'll make it official over the 9 for the game.
All right. Beautiful. Over 9, first play of the day for Ragu. I like the Braves here. Shout out to Cash Cow, and I might end up moving on them in a parlay. We'll find out later on the program. We do have a short time for that game. The game starts in about 20-ish minutes, it seems. So we shall see. Miami Phillies here. It's hilarious watching the Marlins just keep snipping the Phillies late in these games. They're not minus 300, so I'm not really fading them, but I'm watching, and I'm laughing. The Marlins keep taking away these late victories, and I wish I had the cojones to take the Marlins in any game this series, but I didn't, and I still don't here. Ranger Suarez, obviously very good this year, and the Marlins' track record against lefties, just specifically this month, has not been good at all. So this was quite another stay off for me. By the way, Marlins worst against lefties this month, 56 weighted runs created plus. So again, if this is going to be a cushy start for Ranger Suarez where he can go up and not have to worry too much, I'm not going to want to fade him here. So I stayed off, but I didn't want to move on this game. I'd much rather bet, the plus side on this than lay that juice. So no action, but I tell you, the market now, 93% of the bets, 97% of the money on the Philadelphia Phillies, unsurprisingly there. Went from minus 240 opener to minus 238, so slight movement down, but not enough to get me interested. And some sharp action on an under. We have not had more money on an under than an over in quite a long time, it seems. Only 36% of the bets, but 76% of the money on the under in this game. Shockingly enough, went from an 8.5 minus 120. It is now 8. Juice to the over still, but an 8 nonetheless. Ragu, any thoughts on this battle here?
I love the under here. This is one I did a little more of a deep dive in, especially with Suarez as good as he's been this year. A little bounce back spot for him here. Coming back off. I think would they play the Tigers or somebody that got to him a little bit. But hey, this guy here, he's over his. Or if you look at what he's done so far, he's been spectacular. And Chirinos, he's come back from AAA, for Jacksonville, playing for the. The Jacksonville minor league team, the AAA team for Miami. He's got 2 starts, no decisions, right? And he's gone. I think he's gone six strong, or 5 innings in both cases. So he's got 2 outings. He's averaging right around 1K per inning, and he's a sneaky. He's got a lot of good stuff. So I think he works his way back here. And don't forget, the Phillies are missing some big pieces in their lineup, big bats too here.
Yeah.
So. And the Marlins, they struggle, to score runs. So the under is definitely in play. And I definitely want to lean on Chirinos a little bit here too, to get his full 5 innings. So I'm going to look at the first 5, and I think I get even a little bit better value here at 4.5 under. I think it's Bet Rivers at -104 is what I got here. And also Chernos, like I say, 1K per inning, and you got a lighter Philadelphia lineup here. If he goes 5 strong, his K prop is set at 3.5 at -110 at DraftKings. So I'm going to double down here. I'm going to play the first 5 under 4.5, and I'm going to take Chernos over 3.5 Ks at -110.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think these Phillies for the next, few weeks, I guess maybe, are going to be under Palooza here. So, truth teller, I agree with you wholeheartedly on the first 5 under. They just lost 2 of their best bats, and they didn't have JT to begin with. So I agree wholeheartedly. I like the under here, and I'll move on a full game under. I'm going to move on here just to shield me from potential Yanni Chirinos bullshit, I guess. So full game under for me on my card. I'm going to grab that line right now. Under 8 -117 for me. Official there. All right, beautiful. We're keeping it rolling here, brisk pace. And shout out to you guys for putting your plays in the chat. Love to see that. Shout out to Stacks. Shout out to Pissy Cheerios. We appreciate you guys as always. Red Sox, Padres here, and you guys know at this point, Sunday Red Sox. They're gonna look to avoid the sweep here. They got pimp slapped last night. But yeah, I think this is a Red Sox spot. They don't lose on Sundays. We have a I don't know if I guess I can call it a bullpen day anymore with Josh Winkowski on the bump, because he has been stretched out, and he has been a starter this year at several points. But I'm excited to watch this game. I will be on the Red Sox. The Red Sox record on Sundays is impeccable. I will mention that there is 16, it seems like. I'm going to refresh Swish right now to make sure. But we've got heavy winds blowing out here. 12, 13, almost going up to 15-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to the monster today. So be aware. Be aware. The knuckleball in the wind. It's going to be very interesting to see. I will be on the Red Sox full game here. Market in this game, I will tell you guys right now, 65% of the bets, 64% of the money on the Red Sox here. Opened up at -114. That is not good. It is now down to -107. A little concerning there, obviously. And for the total market, we have 86% of the bets and 89% of the money on the over. We have a super high 10.5 now because of that wind as well. Ragu, any bets on this game?
No, I'm going to pass on this one, but this is one, like you said, you want to sit back and watch and enjoy a game. You got the streaking pods, right? I think they're like on a 6-game tear. Of course, Boston is part of that tear for them too. I don't like betting against teams that are streaking. I don't bet teams to break a win streak or a team to break a losing streak. I just kind of, and if it's past like four or 5 games, I usually kind of stay away. Usually the sweet zone is like 3 to 6 games, and they're right at that right now. But I mean, the pitching matchup is intriguing here with the knuckler. This guy's knuckler is like off the charts crazy. But just I think this is, like you said, one to kind of sit back and watch. Pretty solid baseball. Both of these teams are vying for a wild card spot, and they're both right there, second and third place respectively. So there's a lot of baseball left. We got the break coming up, so and this gets to be a little tricky right before the break too. Shout out to my guy Dommy Gunn, has been on a major tear. Last 2 weeks right before the break, a lot of crazy shit happens, and Sunday's usually a dog day too. Like you said, dogs and Boston's numbers on Sundays are pretty good. So even though the pods are streaking pretty hot right now, I sit back and pass. I couldn't come up with a good angle here.
All right, I'm on the Red Sox officially -107. It obviously is a little concerning that line is coming down, but we're on it nonetheless. And shout out to Abel A on over 1.5 bases for Luis Arise. JPZ likes the team total over here. And Fernando Mendoza, shout out to you, leaning over here as well. Let's talk about your Yankees here. Big game. They've been in a cold streak. They got smacked in the mouth yesterday. And now they have their guy, Garrett Cole, back on the mound here. I think this is his 3rd start, I believe, now.
3rd, yeah.
I'm going to be interested to watch what happens. We've all had a lot of Kevin Gausman discourse this year about how good or bad he is. I've kind of gone back and forth. I backed him last time out, I believe, and we cashed. So I'm kind of pro Gausman right now. But Rance is saying it here. This might be another under, or excuse me, this might be another over. It's kind of surprising to see that with Garrett Cole, but let's start with the money line markets here. 68% of the bets and 95% of the money on the New York Yankees here. Ragu, this line opened up at minus 122, and it has plummeted all the way down to minus 105 each way for both of these teams, which is crazy. So with that line movement, that dramatic of a line movement, I should say, and all the money on one side, I will most likely always bet the other side with the money and have that line moving towards it, honestly. So Toronto Blue Jays will be on my card here. I would love to see how their bullpen is stacking up here today. So yesterday, Zach Pop, Jose Cuas, and Brandon Little threw yesterday. So that means Genesis Cabrera, Chad Green, who is probably the closer, I guess, will be available here. So it's going to be interesting to see. Nate Pearson was particularly bad, but he should be available here today as well. So I like the Red Sox here. Excuse me, I like the Red Sox. I like the Blue Jays here today. I've got the Red Sox over the Yankees on my mind here today. Yankees, by the way, their bullpen in the last few weeks, we've talked about them struggling. Their bullpen usage. Phil Bickford will not be available today. Caleb Ferguson threw 22 yesterday, and Clay Holmes threw 18 yesterday. So it will be very okay if they go again on back-to-backs here. So Toronto Blue Jays, full game on my card. Go ahead, Bragu. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean this is a take on the take for the cap here as far as the number goes, like the 105, the basically pick'ems. That's Cole, like you said, Cole's third out, and you go back at what he did in the first two, with the two losses that he had, Baltimore, right, and then who was the he played Baltimore? Who was the last time they played? Anyway, who was it? Baltimore and the Mets.
Gausman? Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, for Cole. He lost to the Mets. Anyways, they got touched up. He gave up some runs, heavy runs. But to his credit, I mean, you're facing, right now the Mets, they're smashing both sides of the plate.
Yep.
And Baltimore was number 2 at the time, and they're still number 2, for against right-handed pitching. So he's faced some tough competition, coming up against. Now, Toronto, historically, they've been like a middle, like 15-16 versus righties. But now, the past couple of weeks, they crept up a little bit here. They're top 10. They're sitting like number 8. And if Cole's not on his game, which I don't think he is 100%, there's been some spots in the lineup towards the bottom of the lineup that's given Cole a little bit of – actually, I take that back. It's the middle part of the lineup that's been smashing Cole. Guerrero, Varsher, and Turner have been killing them. So
that's good.
I tend to lean your way, too, with Toronto. But here's the thing with Toronto. Toronto is not good at putting back-to-back wins up against the Yanks. They're good at sneaking series away, hitting 2 out of 3. But historically, winning back-to-back games against New York has been tough. So, with the Cole factor and Toronto's not being able to, put together multiple wins, I'm just going to pass here. I'm not afraid to bet against the Yankees either. But, 105, that's telling you where the game's at, basically. So it's a coin flip in my book.
All right. I think I'm going to add first 5 here as well, because I do believe I forgot who said in the chat their first 5 have been killing it as well. And I should have done that earlier in the series with Kikuchi. I should have bet them first 5, and he won first 5, and then the Yankees proceeded to score 6 runs off of him in the 6th inning. So like, okay, that's classic. So I'm going to do both first 5 full game here. First 5 is minus 115 for me. And by the way, that first 5 line has moved quite a ton, and it moved into the Blue Jays direction here as well. Was minus 105 for Kevin Gausman, and now it is minus 107, or sorry, minus 117, excuse me.
Wow.
First 5 for Kevin Gausman now. So I'm on
Yeah,
it. Minus 117 and full game minus 105.
I'm seeing it
Keeping
all
it.
over the place. 125, 120. It's crazy.
Wow. Okay, good. I feel like I've got a great line then. That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Let's talk those aforementioned Mets here, Ragu. And I've been on a little bit of a hot streak in the last few days, and I'll say 85% of that is because I jumped on these hot teams and I've been riding them.
That's
The
what you do.
Mets, the Mets, for example, I've just been betting the Mets kind of consistently here. Was on in the last 2 games. I'm going to be on them again here today. I'm one of the people that think this Astros team's fraudulent, and I'll continue to think that. They might make the playoffs, sure. I hope they don't. But I think they're going to get bounced out quickly. So, yeah, I'm going to take just, maybe not too much capping analysis here, not much line movement, I guess. But I do like the Mets here very much. Now, let's talk about that first before I jump into the bet real quick. So let's see. We have 81% of the bets and 62% of the money on the Metropolitans here. And Action is saying this line opened up at minus 160. And so is my other site, minus 160 here for the Mets. And it dropped all the way down to minus 124. Even if that minus 160 opener is wrong, this opened up last night at 11:30, perhaps at minus 142, and still has gone down to minus 124 here. It was at minus 145 at 5 a.m. this morning and has just plummeted all the way down there. That is a red flag. And like I said a couple games ago, I will probably fade that team every time. And I do not want to fade my Mets here. 98% of the bets, 96% of the money on the over in this game. It has gone up to a 9 from a juiced 8.5 minus 120. Ragu, what do you think about this game? I might be on the Astros here after not trying to fade streaking teams.
The Astros, they know Severino pretty well from his days with the Yanks. And they've racked him up over the years. He's had some tough outings against the Astros. To me, this is a bullpen day too for Astros, isn't it? Dubin coming out of I don't think we're going to get a lot of innings out of him here. And I know the Astros bullpen is stretched a little bit too. So that over, that's what I think everybody's looking at, that over, and putting the money and the plays on the over. But I got to stick to what the Mets are doing right now. They're scoring runs, and especially getting them in a bullpen situation, with the Astros. I mean, there's only one way for me to look here, to look at the Mets team total over. I don't like using out of 4.5, but I mean, the numbers kind of ticked up too with the total. So that's, correlates there. But, like 8.5. I'd rather bet 9s over than 8 sometimes, if that makes any kind of sense. But I mean, the thing here is, Severino, he's been pretty good, actually, I had a great outing against the Cubs, 10 Ks last week. So if he gets anywhere near that, that's not going to bode well for the over. But I guess the markets are showing that they think that the Stros are going to hit him here. But I would stick with the Mets bats here, and they're hot, and I'd focus on just the Mets team total over 4.5 here. I think the bullpen day for the Stros, and short work for Dubin, and then the bullpen's been taxed too. They've used the bullpen a bunch against the Mets here too. So I think there's vulnerability here in the middle innings, early, middle to late innings for the Astros and the Mets bats. So over 4.5 minus 110, New York Mets.
Yeah, and what's interesting, Ragu, you're right. Sean Dubin has not gone more than 3 innings this year, just 1-2 innings, 3 at the max today. And I just looked on RotoWire. We have confirmed lineups and everything. No primary though listed. So they're going to keep everything pretty concealed. It seems like the Astros are. Their bullpen usage. Taylor Scott threw. He's thrown out. He's going to throw 3 days in a row. I doubt he's available. Ryan Presley threw 24 yesterday. You've got guys like Luis Contreras, Seth Martinez will be available. Brian King will be available. Oh my God. I don't want to bet the Astros here today, but I feel like I have to with that line movement. And again, 81% of the bets, 62% of the money on the Mets, and we're moving down all that way, making it more appealing to bet the Mets. I think this is an over kind of game, and I think the Astros find a way to win this game. So, breaking the rule that I don't like doing, and maybe this is just a pure heat check bet for me. Who knows? Astros money line plus 111. This line's going to keep falling, and people are going to bet the Mets. And I think this is just the books are going to eat that day. So we'll see. All right. Next game. And I definitely thought about taking a team total over for the Mets or the over in general as well. So shout out to that. But let's go to our next game. A game I'm not interested in. Rays against Patrick Corbin. We snuck out of there yesterday with a win, and it wasn't really sneaking. It ended up being a blowout at the end. But Patrick Corbin just not one of my guys. I've got guys that I bet on, and the Nationals have been one of those teams I've been betting on a lot. And that Patrick Corbin, unfortunately, not one of those guys. So I'm off here. Taj Bradley. I've been saying since he came up again, I think he's a bet on pitcher. And mixed results, admittedly. I thought he was going to be a much better, but his last few starts have been great. His last 4, 5 1/3, 1 earned run, 8 Ks, 4 walks, a little sketchy, but still 5 1/3, 1 earned run, good. 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, and 7 innings, 2 runs. None of them are earned. So I trust Taj Bradley here, minus 184, a little aggressive in my opinion, but I do think the Rays end up winning here. Market real quick before I pass it to Ragu. 71%. No, excuse me, wrong game there. 86% of the bets and 84% of the money on the Rays here. Line went from minus 170 to minus 186. Could easily see my guy Troy Torrance putting a cash cow on this very soon. And 98% of the bets and money on the over in this game. And it's an 8 minus 110 opener, and it has stayed that exact same thing this whole time, no matter all that money on the over. So honestly, I lean under now, but no action here. We're good. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't trust either pitcher in this spot for sure. Even though, like you said, Bradley last year we talked about him. He was their top prospect coming up. Our number 1, number 2 prospect, and he's kind of worked his way back here a little bit. And Corbin he's just been brutal, overall. But the big thing for the Rays this year is they've had their pitching struggles. They've had their offensive struggles. I think they're like ranked fifth worst in run differential right now. I was checking that this morning. So yeah, I get the surprisingly enough, when I seen both pitchers, I seen the 7.5, and now we got some 8s popping up everywhere. But normally when I look at 7.5, I'm looking towards the unders. But 8's that number I can't stand, and when it comes to totals, I just hate it. And then I don't like the pitching matchups and the lack of offense, that the Rays put out sometimes, is especially at home. They've been disappointing this year. That's where they've really flourished over the years. But I lean the Rays here, maybe a first 5 with them possibly, but maybe get a good start from Bradley here, and then Corbin, if he shits the bed, maybe early look for the Rays lean only, but maybe minus a half run. That used to be my bet. I always used to play the Rays at home minus a half run, like at a short number, either plus 105 or minus 120 in that range. So I don't know what it is currently, but I would look at that. Let me check the first 5. Let me just check something here. You got a first 5 number that you can pull up for me real quick
for the Rays?
Yeah, the first 5.
Yes, I got you right here. I've got Rays first 5 minus a half at minus 140.
No, pass.
All right. Pass game for both of us here, and we'll keep it rolling on to our next game, Chicago Cubs, Milwaukee Brewers. Now, I was pretty surprised by a few lines here today. This was one of them. I know I've been shitting on Kyle Hendricks, but he's been pitching rather well since he kind of got back into the rotation. And I thought plus 160, minus 175 was just a little bit too high, honestly. Just back-to-back great outings for him, both against the Giants as well. It's impressive. But, I understand Freddie Peralta's good, but again, I thought this was just a little aggressive. Minus 150, sure, but Minus 175, I don't think so. Ragu, what do you think? I have a sneeze here I have to get out.
Yeah, as much as we don't want to lean on Hendricks. Peralta's probably you're gonna pay a premium for him, and he's kind of his numbers. His K numbers are going to be up there. Obviously, he's been in against the Cubs, but I don't know. I don't trust his Cubs, but Milwaukee's they get involved in a lot of these one-run type games, especially in division type games. There are a lot of one-run games here, so for that kind of money, I would maybe lean the Cubs on the run line, possibly. But I couldn't find a good angle on this spot here, so I just passed.
Good question there. Yeah. By the way, Gifted Cartel asking a question real quick, something I can answer. Who are the best under teams this year? Top 3 under teams. And I will let you know right now. There's a website that categorizes all these things. It's very nice. Gives you their records. I'm not a member of this, but I could give you the over under units if I was. So it's a pretty good site. If you guys are interested, just DM me and I can send it over. But the 3 best teams to the under, and we just talked about all 3 actually. The Atlanta Braves, 30-50 to the under. The Houston Astros, 31-49 to the under. And the Chicago Cubs, 35-48 to the under. The Mariners are right behind them, by the way, at 34-48. So those are all the best under teams there. And for those who are also wondering, first 5 run line teams, we've talked about how good the White Sox have been first 5, even though they're shit overall. Those teams, there are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams with a positive units record on their first 5s, and 3 of those are only up a unit. So make that what you will. The Philadelphia Phillies are 55-28, up 21.6 units on the run line first 5. Cleveland Guardians are right behind them at 50-30, up 18.50. These Milwaukee Brewers, 49-34, up 10 units. The Baltimore Orioles, 49-34, up 9.6 units. The Chicago White Sox are 44-40, up 4 units. And the Dodgers, Red Sox, and Yankees are all up a little over 1 unit. Dodgers are 49-35, 1.75. Red Sox are 44-38, 1.45. And the Yankees, 46-38, 1.10 units to the positive there. So there you go. Gifted Cartel.
Run lines are tough. For years, I always used to say the Orioles were the best team, but, the markets have caught up with the Orioles. That's why. They still probably have the same number of games, but maybe a few more. But
yes, I would say the market has caught up to the Orioles, and I think I've been saying this recently. I've been saying this recently as well, Ragu. The regular season, our Orioles this year is the Cleveland Guardians, who we'll talk about now.
Right.
If you bet the Cleveland Guardians every day, you're in a good land right now. Now they've struggled against the Royals, and I tip my hat to the Royals because I thought they might be cooked, and they've taken 2 out of 3 against the Guardians here. They can make it a 3 out of 4 game victory here for the Royals. Feel good about themselves. They're minus 125, which was a little surprised about, honestly, but Seth Lugo is really good, and I haven't had a good feel on this series. I had bet the over yesterday. That cashed. That was awesome. But I don't have a good feel on this game and series, truthfully. 97% of the bets and money on the over in this game, and this was an 8.5 minus 115. Now it is 8.5 minus 110. I do think this is an under kind of game because of, not like playoff implications, but a Royals team that's going to be very motivated to beat them. And the Guardians, obviously, looking to split, would salvage the series, and they are obviously competing in as well. So I go back and forth. 71% of the bets, but only 49% of the money on the Royals in this game. And we went from a minus 125 to not really much here. We've minus 126 now at Bet Online, but no movement at all. I lean Guardians and I lean under, but I don't think I'll move on this game, Ragu. Any thoughts?
Yeah, Lugo's tough. I mean, he's got what? He's one of the league leaders in wins this year so far.
Yeah, so he might start the All-Star game.
Yeah, I mean, he's right there. I mean, that's the guy. Every team has. I mean, if it wasn't for guys like Lugo for the Royals, that kind of prop the team up. 10 wins, 10 decisions is pretty strong this time of the year. So he's having a good year, and they're right on the outside. They're like one game behind the Twins in the wild card race. So here we are mid-season. We're talking about the Royals possibly getting back into the playoffs. So and he's a big support system for that. And that's a big game. It's a big game. It's a big game for them. And and they're like a little bit of they're like 540 percentage wise. And you got the Guardians who's just been playing spectacular baseball here. So and they score a ton of runs, and the Royals are in plus territory too in that department. So yeah, this is one that rubber game like this with a good pitcher, laying a little bit of odds there, against a good team that could hit, this is one of them games that we can get a ton of runs, or we can get like a 2-1, 3-2 type game here. So I would sit back and it shows me some runs will be scored here, but I don't think enough to get over the total. So I might lean the first 5 under here actually with Lugo going up on the mound.
I think I'm gonna move on the under full game.
Yeah.
I just think it's crazy that we have all this money on the over, and I think this is just going to be a highly competitive, tight game here.
I agree.
Bullpen-wise, I'm curious to see what the Royals have here, because we know that the Guardians will have a very good bullpen nonetheless. So they have Will Smith threw 20 pitches yesterday. Carlos Hernandez back-to-back pitching days. Don't think he goes. Nick Anderson back-to-back pitching days. I don't think he goes. Angel Zerpa threw 23 pitches yesterday. I expect him to go, but that's a little sketchy. The guys that will be firing for these guys, John Scriber. I've been struggling pronouncing his name since he was on the Red Sox. James MacArthur. Chris Stratton had a day off yesterday, so I expect him to be available. And Sam Long does not provide confidence if you're an underbetter. The Guardians threw almost everyone, but they still haven't thrown Clase in this series, and he hasn't thrown since Tuesday, so I expect him to throw.
Look at the markets on the total. What's the markets on the total?
Yeah, we have just 97% of the bets and money on the over. In this game. I'm trying to decide if I want to. Yeah, I wanted to decide if I want a full game or a first 5 here. Truthfully, yeah. I think I'll stick with full game.
Yeah.
And just hope that the Royals bullpen can keep their shit together.
I mean, you get 4.5 for the first 5. At you can get it like minus. You can get minus 120, you minus 115, minus 108 at Bally if you have access to that, minus 107 Bet Rivers. So yeah, I might double up here. I might go first 5 under and full game under. Matter of fact, I'm going to make that official. I'm going to do it right now. 4.5 and then 8.5.
All right, Ragu is in. I will move on the 8.5. I'm getting 8.5. Let me see here. Minus
Hopefully
110.
Doesn't blow up on my face.
Yeah, I feel the same way, Ragu. I feel the same way. And I do like the Guardians here as well, obviously. Shout out to Ron Crawford. His spreadsheet dog play of the day is the Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah, there's strong value in the Indians. I call them the Indians still. And the Guardians.
I don't blame you, Ron Crawford, at all for that. And by the way, forgot to mention it earlier, but Stacks play of the day on the over in that Garrett Cole versus Kevin Gausman start. So shout out to you, Justin McKelvey. Stacks. All right, very nice, Justin. Shout out to you there. Good luck to you, my guy. All right, next game on our slate here, we have the other really surprising line of this morning to me. Minus 215 for the Chicago White Sox. That is insanity. here. And I understand. I get it. Garrett Crochet is really good. I understand. He's pitching motivated to get the fuck off this team, etc., etc. The Rockies aren't even that bad against lefties this month. I did not understand why this was lined at such a ridiculous price. Now, am I running to back the Rockies here? No, I am not. Kyle Freeland is, sketchy to say the least. He came back off the IL, 6 shutout, 1-hit innings against the Nationals. So I congratulate him there. But damn, is it sketchy to take these Rockies here. Now, again, both teams against lefties this month, they're truly not that bad. Both above 100. 18th, the White Sox, 108 weighted runs created plus, and the Rockies right behind them at 107. So truly not that bad, but curiosity's sake, let's cut the split in half. From the 16th to today, the White Sox are 78 weighted runs created plus against lefties, and Colorado is 20th, 89 weighted runs created plus here, and it's still about the same amount of plate appearances. I'm going to look at the market right now, but I don't anticipate betting this game, but I don't understand how anyone can put money on the White Sox here. 86% of the bets and 67% of the money on Chicago here. This opened up at minus 155, and it is skyrocketed all the way to minus 222 now. That is fucking crazy. There is no way I'm betting this game. I am off.
The books are daring you to do it.
Yeah, they're just saying, hey guys, here's a great price to take the fucking Rockies. I guess the White Sox roll today, but there's just no chance I'm betting them. What do you think, Ragu?
I know we got the 2 worst offenses in Major League playing today. I don't see it. There's no way in the world that. I mean, we know Freeland. What he does. I get it. Crockett's maybe is the better pitcher here, but I don't trust White Sox bats to get past anybody. You know what I mean? And especially at minus 220, maybe minus 120, but 220, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And then shout out to Ron Crawford, but he said this is dog spot on the spreadsheet here. So I tend to agree with him here. If you're going to take a swing at 2 shitty teams like this, I get they get the better pitcher, but it's MLB, man. At Sundays, dogs are always live on Sunday, so I would have to lean with the Rockies here. I'm not going to make it a bet, but definitely I would be looking one way here with the Rockies. There's no way I'm backing the Sox at minus 220.
Yeah, there's no shot. And sure, you can say like parlay piece, but still, there's just no shot I'm betting it. Yeah. So no,
they're hoping that you're drunk from the night before and you make a stupid play on the Sox.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Rocco Rogers is saying that Crochet 9.5 Ks is what he's set at, and he's saying Glass now hasn't even been set at 9.5 Ks.
9.5. Maybe that's a look for the under, possibly, but
it's crazy. That's just nuts to me. So no action for me. Yeah. Nice to see you, Clark Edge. I was worried that you disappeared on us after I took the steak from you, but it's nice to see you, Clark Edge. I will be looking forward to that steak in Atlantic City one day, my man. Let's go to Cincinnati and St. Louis. This was another pass game for me, unfortunately. Hunter Green, I don't know. He's just been a mystery to me for the last few years, I guess. And everyone knows that I'm kind of have a bias against Lance Lynn, but I have not faded him much this year, honestly. He's been pitching, pretty well for, I guess, my standards of Lance Lynn. So I just didn't move on this game either here. By the way, I didn't know. I'm just realizing or learning that Lance Lynn went to Ole Miss. That makes a whole lot of sense for who Lance Lynn is, that he went to Ole Miss. 6 2/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run against the Braves last time out. He's been giving up some crooked numbers before then. Braves offense is not, particularly that good this year, as we all kind of know at this point. Cincinnati against righties for this month, they are 18th, exactly even 100 weighted runs created plus. So No action here for me, Ragu. And some breaking news. It looks like Tristan McKenzie got sent down to AAA.
Oh wow.
Sent down to AAA to hopefully fix his issues, I guess. But yeah, down to AAA is down McKenzie. Any option or any bets here for you?
Yeah, these are kind of like two pitchers that are kind of, I'm not gonna say same MO, but their numbers are very similar in the ERA department, win categories, loss categories. They're middle pitchers here. They're supposed to be towards the top to middle part of the rotation here. For these guys. So yeah, this is a coin flip for me too. Also, if you look at the number, we're looking at a 7.5 on the total. So that speaks a little bit of volume here, what they expect of the matchup. But overall, and this is, like I say, this is that central type game where there's a lot of one-run games, and if you look at these team totals over the medium, you'd be surprised. Like even a team like the Dodgers and the Yanks that you think score a ton of runs, they get those games where it kind of brings back to the middle, where you're looking at 4.3, 4.4, 4.1. So. And their ERA prospectively like 3. So, and I think we get some distance out of both these pitchers here. So, if you're going to get involved with a total, I would probably lean maybe the first 5 under, and then we'll see what happens in the bullpen. But yeah, I think this is a tight game and no big advantage either or for me in this spot.
59% of the bets, 88% of the money on the Cardinals. Excuse me. We had this line completely flip, actually. Was minus 109 for the Reds, flips completely minus 109 to St. Louis here. Yeah, I like the Cardinals based on the market flip, and it's now minus 114 St. Louis now. Oh man, I hate.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Green's numbers versus the Cardinals, they're pretty good. With the exception of like Carlson and Furman, which second baseman, he's got one at bat. I mean, it's a small sample size, but anything like in double digits, they're pretty low numbers. Like 200s, 167 for Goldschmidt. He's 0 for against them, so we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a low-scoring game, and I think the Cardinals come through with the victory here. So I think I'll roll with St. Louis Cardinals money line. Those flips, guys, I personally cannot not bet those flips. I know this time more money and bets are on the Cardinals this time, but if there's enough for it to go to minus 101 opener to now minus 114 for the Cardinals, I feel like I have to bet that most every time. So minus 114 St. Louis Cardinals full game money line for me. Now let's go to our next game, which actually this will be our quickest game because there is no pitcher for the Giants, no line. I have not seen a line at least, and I have not seen a pitcher. So let us know if you guys know anything we don't. But I'm obviously going to pass. I think James Paxton is very vulnerable, though. Very vulnerable, and against lefties, the Giants this month are 5th, 137 weighted runs created plus. So I'd be looking to fade Paxton. Maybe a team total, but obviously tough to say when there's no other pitcher. So won't be any action here for me, Ragu, but I'd fade Paxton if I was you.
Yeah, I didn't break this game down because the pitching matchup I wasn't able. I'm just looking at the Dodgers numbers as a whole, versus Frisco here. I think we see what we normally get with the Dodgers. They just come off of the 2 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns and 1 touchdown, 14-7 win over last night. Usually I like to come back and lean back towards when they get middle double digits, I like to come back, lean towards like an under here, but I don't know. Without that pitcher coming in for the Frisco, for the Giants, I look at the pitching matchups or the hitter pitcher matchups, to calculate that. But Paxton's been solid for them, so maybe look at a lean on Paxton here, possibly. But I don't know. Just I think there's a little bit of vulnerability here with this matchup with him, though. Believe it or not, he's been solid over the last 18 innings. About 3.39 ERA. So we'll see. But I'm off right now.
Okay. No action here for me. And by the way, just a reminder, it's Nut Flush Allen says fade Giants and Dodgers after these series. So I will be fading one, if not both of these squads on Monday and or Tuesday, depending on who plays when. Next game, and God bless you, Wine Time. God bless you. Wine Time Sports has a team that we've been riding the hot Ragu.
Yeah.
Los Angeles Angels. Here we've talked about them quite frequently. Our guy at Wine Time has said these guys are, young team, hungry, playing for each other. This is his squad. He knows them. They were on a 6-game winning streak. They walk off the Tigers last night.
Hey, magic.
I mean, again, yeah, and I was on the money line with him as well, and obviously I'd like to back him here again. Minus 106 full game was when I saw it. Let's see the markets and see where we are now. Sharp money on the Tigers, 32% of the bets, but 74% of the money on the Tigres here. That is concerning. Opened up at minus 105 each way, and it has stayed there. So not much movement nonetheless, which does make me feel a little better about that sharp money. Total 92% of the bets and money on the over in this game. And we went from an 8.5 juice to the under to now we're seeing a 9 on the board now. Very interesting. Let's see how the Tigers and the Angels both do against lefties here. Because correct me if I'm wrong, people in the chat. Casey Mize, we all know. Lefty, I believe. No, righty. I'm thinking of Scooble, actually, is what I get confused of. So Mize, a righty here. His last few starts, 4 1/3, 9 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned against the Philadelphia Phillies. Impressive, though. 10 Ks, no walks. Atlanta Braves, 4 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs. He's just been pretty okay to bad this year. Nothing really too spectacular, if I'm being honest. So let's talk about the Angels against righties here. For the month, Angels against righties, they're 20th, 96 weighted runs created plus. And again, I'd like to see what they were for the last 2 months or 2 weeks because they've been hot. Last 2 weeks, still about 97 weighted runs created plus. So very interesting nonetheless. Now, let's find out how bad the Tigers are against lefties because Tyler Anderson is an interesting pitcher, to say the least. Glad he got paid out, and he's pitching. He's pitching and he's posting. 93 weighted runs created plus this month against lefties for the Tigres here. I kind of want to bet the Angels yet again here. And Wine Time, I might be joining you here again. Ragu, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, I think the Angels get a perfect setup against Mize today. They're a streaking team. To benefit, a lot of that benefit comes at the expense of the Tigers at the same time, and you finish up the series on a positive note. Tigers it's probably like a get out of town game for them just to kind of regroup and get things, back for their next series. But yeah, I think it's a perfect setup for the Angels here, without doubt. Anderson, like you say, he's split on the year. He's got a 2.63 ERA, and he's got, he's been one of those pitchers. He's been a bright spot for him, as far as not giving up the ghost. Even last year, he's kind of like in the same role, probably a little bit better this year, actually. But yeah, I like this kid Anderson. I think he's got decent stuff, and the Tigers are one of those teams. They streak a little bit, but now they're streaking to the low side, and they started out hot. They're going into the break. I think this is one of them teams that they're fade material right now going into the break. So, like I say, bet with the streaks. You got one team that's streaking one way and one that's going the other way, and then the benefit of that is, like I say, this series is a big part of that too. But even before that, we got the Tigers in the last 10 games. They've won like 4 out of the last. So they had one game going in on the losing side, or 3-7, losing 4 here. So yeah, ride the streak. I'm with you. I'll follow you guys on this Angels play. I like that.
Yep, Angels minus 105 full game. By the way, Tigers day off tomorrow, and then they go to Minnesota. So I kind of agree with the people that are saying like maybe they just want to get the fuck up out of here.
Yeah, that's it.
Out of this game. So I think it might be a lower scoring game because of the getaway, but I am on the Angels minus 105. Our next game, we have 2 games left. Minnesota Mariners here. Yesterday I was very close to moving on the under, and it was just crazy to see all the line movement, or not line movement, I guess. It's just all the money on the over, as it typically is, with such good pitchers on the bumps. I'm just like, I can't. Sometimes I just can't believe it, and it's kind of been like this whole series. And now we have it again. A 7 on the board here with Joe Ryan and Luis Castillo. We have obviously 96 and 95% of the money on the over. This went from minus 120 to the over and is now minus 113 to the over here. So again, this is just honestly another spot where it's like, why am I not on the under here? Maybe I oversimplifying it. I trust both of these pitchers. Luis Castillo at home, I will trust. I don't love betting on Luis Castillo and trusting him here. But I'll trust him at home more than I will on the road, obviously. Splits this year, just for people's curiosity: 48 innings pitched, a 2.96 at home. On the road, 51 innings pitched, 4.59 for Luis Castillo. So very interesting. Game logs, real quick. His last few starts: 4 earned runs, 5 earned runs, 2 earned runs. I think this is a good bounce back opportunity for him here. And Joe Ryan, it's going to be a question mark. He was, again, one of my original guys this year, or I guess in the past years, that I've really liked. His home road splits flipped from what you would think. Home, 3.7 ERA and 48 and 2/3 innings pitched. On the road, a 2.92. So don't know what it is exactly. Doesn't like pitching at home. His last start, 4 earned runs at Arizona. Another bounce back opportunity for him. So, yeah, I do like an under in this game here. I just need to check the bullpens real quick and see if we have at least some healthy and ready to go bullpens here. For the Mariners, they threw a bunch of slapdicks yesterday and left both Ryan Stanek, Andres Munoz, and Mike Baumann all available. So I like that. And for Minnesota here, a bullpen that I trust, obviously. Johan Duran didn't throw yesterday, so that's will probably be the thing that gets me in. Caleb Fieldbar, Griffin Jack's a good reliever, is not going to be available today. But yeah, I think I'll move on the under in this game. Maybe again I'm oversimplifying it, but this is just screams under, and we have all the money on the over, and it never makes sense to me. So under 7, Ragu, is my official play on this card, minus 107. What about you?
We got 2 top flight pitchers that don't generate the top flight wins and losses, but their K numbers are good, their ERA numbers are good, below league average. So, and then I get the underlook for sure. We get Seattle at, I think, last night, I think they've been really struggling to put runs across the plate, with runners in scoring position. Ryan hasn't been real successful against these Mariners. I know his numbers say so on the road. He's got good numbers there. I get that too. So I think all things being equal with both these pitchers, I think it sets up for a pitching duel early on for sure. So I kind of like that first under, and we're looking at what you said, a 7.5 as far as the under goes, 7. So, and then I think it opened 7.5. Now it's kind of juiced to 7 to the under slightly. I like that look here on the first 5 for sure. And I kind of lean towards the Mariners at home too. I think the splits look pretty good. Pretty much middle. Little bit more money on Seattle, a little sharper action on Minnesota actually with the money line. But as far as the first 5 goes, we're looking at a juice 4, like at minus 125 on the underside. If you like the over, there's some 3.5s that are juiced pretty high, like 125 also. So yeah, I don't mind that under 4 at I think it's what casino is that? I don't even know what casino. What the hell is B? What is that? But anyways, there's ESPN bet. Fuck ESPN, them bastards. But anyways, yeah, ESPN's hanging a 4 at minus 125. Everywhere else is like 3.5s, juice like at minus 105. So if you can get a 4, grab it. If not, if you like, go full game. Then if you like it that way. But I would even lean Seattle in the first 5, possibly. Maybe not laying a half a run, but just on the money line straight up. You're looking at minus. I got plus 110 at Caesars. I'm seeing minus 120, 110 at DraftKings. I'm seeing a minus 120 at ESPN. But yeah, I'd take the plus 110 on the Mariners at Caesars. Make that official for me. Caesars minus plus 110. Seattle Mariners first 5.
I like that look. There's a lot of love for the Mariners. BJ and Rod Zawacki both on the Mariners. So shout out to you both. All right. 2 more left. Oakland, Arizona. Brandon Pfaadt's my guy, but it's obviously too juiced to bet him here. So this was an easy stay off game for me. What do you think here, Ragu? I'll keep it short and sweet there.
Yeah, this was a pass for me also on the D-backs and the A's. I pass.
Yeah, market for those people that are interested. I'm not interested in it, but 90% of the bets, 74% of the money on Arizona here went from a minus 190 to minus 185. So slight movement down, and 67% of the bets and 68% of the money on the over 8.5. Or excuse me, I should say over in this game went from a 9 to on Bet Online minus 120 to the under, now 8.5 minus 115 to the under. So interesting. Maybe you can trust Luis Medina, but I want nothing to do with that. Let's move to our last game here. Rangers, Orioles, Sunday Night Baseball. I'm sure when they scheduled this game, they thought the Rangers would be much better than they are. Andrew Heaney, a guy I don't want to back typically ever, and unless I have some sort of like market like yelling at me to bet him. And Cole Irvin has just been quietly really good this year, and it's been impressive. Now, if this was a righty versus righty matchup, I'd be more interested in betting the Orioles here. But Texas can hit lefties pretty decently. 118 weighted runs created plus this month against lefties. Just to put that in perspective, against righties, they're dead last this month. So Cole Irvin just needs to get 6 innings under his belt, and then the Orioles will throw every righty they have in the tank. So that's very interesting. That makes me feel like at least the Rangers have a shot in this game. Orioles against lefties. By the way, the Rangers are hitting them actually harder. 114 weighted runs created plus compared to the Rangers 118. So very interesting. Maybe some love for the Rangers yet. Full season, just to let you guys know, 127 for the Orioles, second best, and 23rd for the Rangers, 91. But at least they're hitting them recently. So if you're backing the Rangers here, opened up at minus 148, has not really moved much, up to minus 153 for the Rangers, for the Orioles, but that's not much movement with 87% of the bets and 97% of the money on the Rangers. Honestly, if you're looking for a dog to back here on this card, I definitely don't hate the Rangers. If they can hit lefties and keep their shit together, then I could believe they can win this game. Opened up totals wise at a 9, juice to the over minus 120. It is just 9 minus 110 each way now. I don't have the balls to bet the Rangers here, but I respect anyone that does. I'll be very interesting to see how it goes here. BJ likes the Rangers here today. Nate Dogg likes Heaney here today as well. Rod Z likes Texas money line. DC Capper on the Orioles, but it might rain here today. What do you think here, Ragu, on this game?
Yeah, it's Heaney's numbers against the Orioles are not great. But the Orioles, they're, like I said, they hit everybody anyways, but particularly Heaney. Irvin's numbers, they're okay, against the Rangers. It could be a dog spot, that's a big number though. 9, I get it, with the higher ERAs for both of these guys here, prospectively. But I think that's a big number for me. I know Baltimore, and like you said, the rain, like Dami was telling me this morning, there's some rain expected in the Northeast. Maybe it clears out by evening time. Who knows? Maybe the wind. What's the winds look like in this game?
According to our friends at Swish, we have, and obviously this is at the Orioles, 7 to 8 mile-an-hour winds blowing straight out to center from 7 to 8, and it dies down to around 5 mile-an-hour
All right,
during the end of the game.
yeah, that's not bad. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe maybe a lean to the under here, possibly. Believe it or not, even with these higher ERAs here. But I don't hate the Rangers play, but I just don't like betting against the Orioles.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a big proponent of the Orioles on the run line, but they're at home, so I take that away too. So you lose the bat there. So I wind up passing on this spot here more than likely. But I don't hate the Rangers, like I say, in this spot, but I think the Orioles will probably win the game. But I'm not going to lay the 170, 165 number with them here.
Yeah, I'm staying off here as well. Gifted Cartel, I struggled with the first 5 over. I just looked to see if it moved a little bit, and it didn't really at all. All the money on the over and it's not moving is always concerning, but I do lean over just based off the X's and O's.
Yeah, we're looking at like 90. What 90? We look on the money line. We're looking at the total. We're looking at 97% of the money's on the Ranger on the Orioles, and 87% of the 87% of the bets are on the Orioles, and 97% of the money are on the O's. So there's strong money on the O's here. So it might be I would think you would get a little bit better value with Texas here on that side of the coin. Just pushing back a little bit, but I don't think we've seen the big moves here. We were looking at what 162, like the 165. So the money, with all that money coming in, it hasn't changed much. The line hasn't moved a whole lot.
And 74% of the bets, 68% of the money on the over, and it hasn't moved either. So that is kind of why I am off of this game here.
Yeah.
So that concludes our card. This felt pretty quick, Ragu. It's nice to have you back.
Man,
Ragu, I'm glad that your schedule is freed up. Got some time to cap now, which is nice.
After the break, I'll be readily more available after the break. Like I said, I know you gave that message to Jimmy, but yeah. And I'll have some more cobwebs cleared out, and I'll be a little more sharper probably going forward. So
beautiful.
We'll see how we do today, though. I got a few actions. You want to go over the card for today officially?
Yes, let's do that. And I know, Ragu, college football season is creeping up.
Yeah,
college football creeping up. Can't wait to see what you have in store for us there as well. So it's very exciting, nonetheless. So let's talk about these official plays. My card pretty stacked again. I didn't expect to have another pretty girthy card, but I'm running well, so I'm gonna, I guess, roll with it. But as have I told you guys before, these big cards are always extremely scary for me, and I should try not to have them too much, but a lot of good stuff I like out here today. So let's ride. Miami Marlins, Philadelphia Phillies under 8 -107. Red Sox money line -107. Fuck you, Damon Santori. I'm coming for your neck today, Damon. Blue Jays double up. First five -117. Full game -105. Astros money line +111. Cleveland Guardians, Kansas City Royals under 8.5 -110. Cardinals money line -114. Angels money line -105, and the under in Minnesota, Seattle 7 -107 for me. Ragu, let the people know.
Yeah, so on that Miami Philly, I got under 4.5 runs -104. I got the Chirinos over 3.5 Ks at -110. Then we're on the Mets team total over 4.5 at -110. Then we got the Royals in Cleveland. We got a double spot there. We got under 4.5 at -107 in the first five, and then under 8.5 full game at -110. Then I got Seattle in the first five money line at +110. And then I think I followed you. Yeah, Seattle. No. Did I got Seattle? Yeah, I got Seattle. No, I'm sorry. I got the Angels. Angels -105 full game.
Okay,
my bad. Cool. I tailed you guys with more time on that spot there, and that's about it. Those are my official plays right there. They got
awesome.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep.
Well, welcome back, Ragu.
Yep.
It's nice to have you back. We'll have you back on the program, of course, in the next coming weeks. All-Star break seems like it's so far away, but it's only like 2 weeks
couple
away
weeks.
now. Feels crazy. Yeah. But
Yeah.
where can the people find you, Ragu?
They can find me on your show, right here at Pub. And of course, with our guys over at Who Bangin', like you said, DJ, we'll be starting to preview some college football coming up, getting ready for the upcoming college football season. And then, I'll be bouncing back between you and Who Bangin' right here.
Yep. Shout out to Who Bangin'.
And of course on Twitter at Big Ragu 62, which has kind of been quiet, but I'll start putting some stuff up there too for you guys up shortly. So we took a little hiatus, but we'll be back.
Yep. Big Ragu 62. Shout out to Who Bangin', Dami, DJ. Shout out to all of you guys over there as well. But let's get after it today. We now have a big day. And Venezuela versus Jamaica, guys. You guys know how important that is to me here. Plus 500.
Good luck with that. Well, you said you're going to the game. Where's the game at?
It's in Austin.
It's in Austin. Okay. Yeah. Shout out to my Italians for losing again.
Yes, that was really unfortunate there. I was very close to fading them, and I didn't. I was like, there's no way, right?
You should have called me. I would have told you to fade.
It's hilarious. But let's have a good day, guys. We appreciate you guys. Fernando, I'll forgive you for that comment, Fernando. I forgive you. I still love you, but I'll forgive you here for this one. Abel A, JPZ, Kelly, AOD, Morgan Spooner, Daryl Turner in here, Rocco Rogers, I'm That Heat, Vitalis, Daryl Turner, Gifted Cartel, BJ, our guy Justin McKelvey, Nate Dogg, Rants, all you guys, Joe Yurkovich, the guys that watch and don't comment. We appreciate you guys as well. Hit the like button, support Pub Sports Radio in any way you can. Go to the website, do whatever you can. So shout out to you guys. Get your membership. Get your membership. Thank you, of course. And of course, $9.99 a month to become a gold member and join the PSR Gold Horse Races. Till then, say hey. We'll see you guys next time.